So first and foremost is the ceiling. Now this is the project that I've been tackling this week. I'm currently off work and I've been wanting to just be home and crack on with the house. And as usual, renovation stuff just always takes slightly longer than expected. And the ceiling is, although from your angle it probably looks immaculate, which is great. Good girl. Good girl. No barking. Anyway, as I was saying, so I've been tackling the ceiling. So I did a mist coat, and then I did another mist coat, and then I went in with white paint. Now, off the bat, you can still see some of the rings from the Artex, which is slightly infuriating, I'm not going to lie. However, because I've only done one proper coat of white paint, I'm going to go in with another one today, purely because I want to see if it's the paint or the fact that we need to sand it again. And I feel like at the end of today, I'll know the answer to that question. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it will all be okay. I'm trying to do thin layers as well, so it doesn't look cakey. At the moment, I think I will probably need to sand some areas, not all of it, which is great. Less work for me to do. If anyone has worked on their own ceilings, you'll know just the labour of it is quite intense. So yeah, it's just been one of those weeks. It is very messy in here, but I will say there are really good parts of the ceiling that look immaculate, including this area here. That looks amazing. That corner looks amazing. The centre we're obviously not too worried about because there'll be a ceiling rose there, so that will kind of hide all the other imperfections. So don't need to worry about that part. So thankfully, there's really not that much. And I kept saying to my mum yesterday, who came to help me paint some bits and pieces, that actually I don't mind the patches where you think, oh, some filler's missing from there, put some more filler in that hole. But actually I don't mind that. It kind of looks almost rustic, and I really, really love that look. So I'm not too worried about that. It's just the Artex rings that I have a problem with, because you can tell immediately what they were, and I don't like that. So that's the unfortunate thing about some patches, but it is just some patches. So I'm going to try my best and just work on it today. I am slightly tempted to sand back the parts that do still look like Artex, but I'm just thinking it might be just worth painting and then seeing how it goes tomorrow, like overnight. That part is probably the worst for the Artex look, because I can see it all, which is good that it's only in one area. Some of that will be coving anyway, so in reality it's probably not as bad as I think it will be. And that's what I mean. I think when you're seeing things like bare bones kind of stage, you think, oh, that needs to be perfect, whereas actually we're going to have another colour on the ceiling, which is another layer of paint. We're going to have coving all around. We're going to have a ceiling rose, and because the fireplace will be all done by then, we're hoping, you won't be looking at the ceiling. And actually my mum told me that their ceiling is actually not done very well either, and I've been there many times and I've never even looked. So in reality, I don't think it's going to be that much of an issue, / we don't really need to worry about it as much as we are, because we're both worried about it. But anyway, on a bit of a different note, we've been in contact with a construction company to do the kitchen wall. We kind of go back and forth every minute with this decision, as I'm sure you'll know, and I'm sure you're probably sick of me talking about it, to be honest. But because there's lots to this house that, you know, you have a dream house and you have a dream list of things you want in a house. This house doesn't have everything that we want in it, which is fine. You know, it's a fantastic house. It's a fantastic family home. There is plenty of room for at least a family of 4 in this house. And so I think what we're going to probably do, which was not our plan originally, but it is to just be the custodian. Is that the right word? Just be the custodian of this home for a couple of years to give it a bit of life back into it and make it what it is. And so because of that decision, we are probably going to, instead of doing the living room next, we're going to do the kitchen wall next, depending on the price. I will say that off the bat. We're getting a quote for it at the moment. My husband is going to call them today just to get a quote for it, hopefully. They might have to come and look at it, but yes, so that's kind of the plan. The more I thought about it and the more I chatted with my mum yesterday, kind of about our plans versus what this room is looking like at the moment, it doesn't really make sense to do this room if we're gonna complete this room, if we're going to knock the wall down, because that will just cause so much mess that I haven't even really dived into colour for this room, because again, if you're doing a kitchen dining space, you want it all to look cohesive. So I'm not exactly gonna go and spend money on paint for this room without thinking about this room if we're then gonna do it. So I think ultimately we probably are gonna do that wall very soon, which worries me slightly because of Christmas. I wanted people to be in our home for Christmas, to be honest. However, normally we're actually not home on Christmas Day, which means actually it won't be that much of an issue. We are usually not home over the Christmas period just because we're, popping to see family and all of that jazz. So I don't think it will be that much of an issue. I'm not really looking forward to not having a kitchen. That's something that is going to be very tricky. However, it's just really a case of where to put it in the house, because we can move the fridge, that's fine. We can buy a portable ceramic hob from IKEA for like 80 quid, that's fine. We've got a microwave, we've got an air fryer, we've got a toaster, so it's not like we're going to be without appliances, which is great. We just won't have a hob, which is fine. Sorry, not a hob, like an oven, like a proper oven. But again, I think that's fine. I'm not really too bothered about that. It's just where we're going to put it, because now that we've done this room, yeah, there's just lots of things going on at the same time. We're also, when we talk to the construction company, I'm also wanting them to sort the fireplace out for us at the same time. Kind of makes sense. So yeah, and I've also asked them to quote us for screeding the floor in the kitchen area, because it's not the same level as this room, so we want to make sure it's all level when we put flooring that goes throughout this big L shape. So yes, that is the plan. I feel like the plan keeps changing, but if we can find, and this is part of the problem, I think, and I will wrap up in a minute because I've been talking for 10 minutes. It's really hard, A, to find a construction company, and B, to find one that you feel understands what you want, understands the level of spec that you want and gives you confidence, because at the end of the day, you're trusting somebody else to do the work on your home that you are paying for. So it's quite a big ask. It's quite a big trust process. So I want to find someone that comes in and just tells me what can and cannot be done and how much it will be. The last guy that we had in was lovely man, but he came across in a very, this is what I think you should do, not in a way of like, well, it kind of almost felt a bit forceful. He was like, yeah, I'll take that window out for you at the same time. And I was like, yeah, I didn't ask that. Like, that's not, kind of wasn't my vibe. I want someone that listens to me, understands what we want, and asks as many questions to be able to understand what we want. Because obviously we're new at this, so, we're not going to be able to say all the things that will be able to, help them. Anyway. So we're hopefully going to get a rough quote today. I don't know if I'm not sure if they'll actually give us a monetary quote, but they might have to come and see the house, see the room and whatever before they do that. But yeah. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to get cracking with the paint, and I'll chat to you in a little bit because my battery is about to die. Stay. You get it?